Hello and welcome to Industry Spotlight with Creative First. Our guest today is Pravesh Sani, founder India Take One Productions. He is considered one of the most experienced line producers we have today and has worked with several international talent, including Ang Lee, Danny Boyle, Oliver Stone, Shekhar Kapoor, Brad Bird, Catherine Bigelow, among others. We're going to have a very, very interesting conversation today on productions and tax incentives. So, Pravesh, let's begin with a celebratory note. Your company is going to, celebrate its silver anniversary. Tell us a little bit about the idea that came 25 years ago and how the journey has been so far.
Firstly, when I look back, to be honest, it's been more than 25 years. I was looking back. I'd done movies in 1984, a movie called Kim, and then I did a movie called 1988, Deceivers for a Smile Merchant. Then I was also involved in Far Pavilion. So by that time, I didn't have a company, but I started working like a transport manager, an assistant transport. My job was to look after cars. Those days, we used to have Ambassador and Fiats. So my job was to check, how the tires are and get fuel filled in them. So I've come up the ladder, and it's been 25 years that Tabrez and I decided to form this company. And if I look back today, I'm very, very satisfied. Like you named the directors I worked with and what they have said for me on various stages. And, like Danny Boyle said, this movie couldn't have been possible without my Three Musketeers. And I did a movie with Stephen Frears. He had great words to say. He invited me for the premiere. When I did Lion, they got only 8 passes for the Oscars, and I was one of the people. The foreign producers weren't called, and I was called to the Oscars to walk on the red carpet. So that gives you a lot of satisfaction at the end of the day, that what this 25 years has done, or more than 25 years in this industry, working dedicatedly to achieve a particular goal with satisfaction, quality, and honesty.
So you definitely transitioned from political science to creative sciences. And, on that note, how has the whole transition happened for you, from commercial to features?
See, like I told you that I was always involved doing feature films, but not being a producer. Like you mentioned that the first time I got a chance was to do Jane Campion's movie called Holy Smoke. And, it was an experience that, because it was a story where they had to literally transform Kate Winslet, who had just finished Titanic at that stage, to come down to India. And in that story, she plays like I traveled with her literally for 1.5 months, just Kate and myself, making her go to Paharganj, making her go to Rishikesh, walking with her on the streets of Janpath, just to get that character in. So I was always involved with wanting to do Hollywood movies, and it's been a good turn. The beginning point was, yes, Jane Campion's Holy Smoke. I did do a movie for Mahesh after that, Mahesh Mathai. It was called Bhopal Express with KK, and but unfortunately it didn't do well on the box office. So I have been this. That was the only Indian production you could say I have done till now.
You spoke about getting, talent and, making them experience making them experience their character. You just spoke about Kate Winslet. What are the key elements of the business to ensure that you're delivering on your promise to filmmakers and production houses? I mean, this is really a new insight. I never knew that from a line producer's perspective, you really get into, a talent's character. But what are the other key elements?
It was not only Kate Winslet. When we started doing this movie Slumdog, we had Dev Patel work in a restaurant, clean dishes in a restaurant, and get that character. And when we were doing a movie called Lion, I had Dev travel on third-class trains from Indore to Bhopal and come back the same day and just behave like sleeping on the wooden trains, just to get him into that character, so that once he on the day of the shoot, he doesn't, when we do stunts, every stunt movie requires a lot of rehearsal. So even when we couldn't afford to hire a train. So when we were doing Slumdog, I still remember Danny Boyle, hanging the kids upside down in the train. Before that, we had 1 month training with Sham Kaushal ji in the film city with a bus. We were doing the same stunts in a bus before we could get onto a train. So, rehearsals and getting the character of the people, that's essential to, get the best out of the actors.
You've been the greatest, I think, advocate for filming in India. And, besides the cost benefit, what are the other benefits of, shooting in India?
See, cost benefit is, yes, we have amazing locations. When they want to come to India, like we also duplicate various countries. When you see Zero Dark 30, nobody can say it was shot in Chandigarh and Patiala. When I did a movie called Wedding Guest, where I've also acted. So playing Radhika's father. But I can tell you that, we were able to create Pakistan. And even when they saw this, we've also done Homeland series where Pakistan plates were all shot in India. Because in Extraction, we did the complete Dhaka scenes, the complete Bangladesh scenes in a place called Ahmedabad. So, creating the signboards, creating those Bengali signboards, creating action vehicles. It's a huge exercise. In Zero Dark 30, I think we had something like 40 or 50 vehicles which were transformed, starting from trucks, buses, tuk-tuks, because they're all different in Pakistan. And the similar thing we did in Extraction. We had a full, I think we purchased cars worth to the tune of about 1.52 crore rupees, which were all completely destroyed in the shooting.
You've just broken the myth that, India has to be in the script. I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, you can pretty much create a story, based on a location or, based on the local culture. And it need not be, a story where possibly, you have to shoot in India, from what I'm hearing from you. I mean, I think a lot of what you said is like, it's already in the script because of the experience they have.
The
right?
locations and the crew which we offer, yes, they could have gone to Sri Lanka, they could have gone to anywhere else. They could. Unfortunately, when we were down with COVID, we've lost some shoots to Thailand and Australia. But otherwise, India, we had made the beautiful slum set in Bhopal, which was going to be controlled for fire. It was made of cement sheets, and we had people from South Africa come to do the special effects. So everything was being done. Everything can be done. We have the technical crew today. Our technical crew is, I think, as good as around the world. Our gaffers, our key grips are all, and naturally, like you said, far cheaper than what you get in the US.
What have been some of the challenges that you have faced, shooting across locations, in India?
See, look, the challenges are like are something like when we talk about a single window, and that doesn't happen. That because our producers and directors attend festivals and they see, we are still not getting our permits from the single window, like the Archaeologist Survey of India and the railways, where I would say that the DGCA has recently cleared the drone bit. But we are still, it takes a lot of time to get into an airport or to do aerial photography from helicopters and stuff. Where for the Extraction, they went for the helicopters because we were unable to get those permits. They went to Thailand to shoot that. So, we are still, I would say, a step away from a few of the government departments who need to become more film friendly, including the railways. The railways should be treated as Indian Railway. I have been always bringing out on various panels and, since the last few years. And even ASI, they need to be more film friendly. so that to allow the crew at a particular time, allow them to shoot some scenes. They have rules like the forest that, you can't shoot before this time, and you need to get out at this time. While filming a big shoot does take us a lot of time to set it up, like you're aware of.
So tell us how we can really, go about streamlining this process. You've shot all over the world. And how is that different from your experience here?
I love shooting here. The government has been extremely, NFDC has been a great help. With the film visas which have come, have been a great help. The government is now pushing, and now with the new incentives which have come from various states and the center, that should again help. The only problem what I see is that they have capped it at all levels, may it be state and may it be the center. They've capped it, which is like less than $500,000, which doesn't excite the big studios. So I've been saying that the big studios, if they're getting a big movie, their capping from 30% can be brought down to 20% or 25%, but the capping must go.
Yes, and I think they're looking into that piece as
Yes.
well.
We've been assured that the states are looking at it as well as the center.
While your main focus is to assist productions in India, do you also assist Indian productions looking to shoot abroad?
No, honestly not. We at Touchwood been very busy. We've been producing 2 to 3 movies since in a year. So that's our capacity. And only last year we have done a job or two outside, but I won't say that it's our anything to mention about. We did Treadstone, one of our producers did Budapest and other places, but our main focus has been on India.
Right. Coming to technology, how has technology and improvement in communication tools helped streamline the business for you? Do you think AR, VR will help further?
I have been from the time when we were shooting it on film, and getting it developed, seeing the rushes. We won't destroy a set or any stage till we get the clearance from the lab. So we've worked on that. Right now, the director can see the cut in the next 15 minutes, and now everything is being shot digitally. At night, by the time the director gets into his room, he has the full day's tape in his room playing on his TV. So things have changed. Things are very fast with the technology, yes. And naturally, the cameras are better, the equipment has better, the dollies, the lights, everything has seen a complete turnaround.
But how has the AR, VR, technology changed the value addition that you bring to the table? You have worked in that space.
We worked with Sky Channel as well as Google on that. But I think it's a big market, what you are saying. I completely agree. But in years to come, I think we need a few more years before we can hit that big market. Right now, we are focusing on doing some big productions back in India on ground, like we say.
Right. What are some interesting projects that you're working on and that we should look forward to?
I'm sorry. We are looking at 3-4 big projects. The permissions are with the Ministry of INB and NFDC for clearance. And we are very hopeful that those clearances will come in the next 10 days, actually next 10-15 days.
What do you think about the single window clearance mechanism that currently is operating in India? We understand that, there is production and tax incentives as well, but what are the key areas that they can, work on to streamline the single window clearance process?
See, I think it needs to be more efficient, and the NFDC has to work hand in hand with us, which they have been working, but getting us quick permits from the various government agencies. Once we get the clearance from the government of India, it should be marked. Suppose my scene has animals, it should be marked to animal welfare. If it has railways, it should be marked to the railways. Then there should be a nodal officer from the government following up with these various. If there's an airport scene, that the DGCA is being followed up, because sometimes we get the DGCA clearance after we finish the shoot. That happened in Lion. And that happened even in Slumdog. We had to shoot the helicopter scene. The opening scene was shot after the movie was shot. Where if you see the opening scene of Slumdog, where Danny Boyle, but things have become better. Things are improving every day. I would say that where we started, we have achieved a particular milestone, but and we need to still do more. Because the foreign producers who work and in countries where they get incentives, they feel there are countries which are giving you incentive on the script before you start shooting. In our case, we should have like I said, the 120, once you finish your shooting, you will get your incentive 120 days. Something like that. The other thing I brought up was that the GST. When I was doing the movie with Ang Lee, like you just mentioned, Life of Pi, they had a letter from the government that when they were shooting in Taiwan, the hotel were not charging them tax.
But what makes India a great destination? I mean, it's amazing that you speak about locales and kind of, you've actually substituted that to any location internationally. But what really works when you shoot in
When you
India?
talk about a location like when we started doing this Marigold Hotel or Eat, Pray, Love, they both wanted, in Marigold Hotel, they wanted a very different type of hotel, not a luxury hotel where a person could come and retire. So we started that scouted, took a lot of time to pinpoint that particular hotel. And similarly, when we were doing Eat, Pray, Love, so again, they wanted a ashram where they teach yoga and everything. But because of Sony and because of Julia Roberts, we were limited that you could only travel to a particular distance because of the actors. So finding these locations is difficult, yes, but then they are driven by the story, by the writer.
So
When you're talking about, when we were doing Slumdog, I still remember when I did the first scout with Danny Boyle going to Agra. And, I planned that he has to go to Taj Mahal. We'll reach in the evening, see it next morning and come back. But when you go with a director, we stayed there for 3 days. Every morning he would go there and start asking those guides, the same question, and he would spend literally 2 hours with each guide, just trying to get. And then when the movie script came out, he had put everything in the script. What the guide used to say and how you put up your shoes and all that. So when they are doing that research, when you are traveling with a director, you get into that tune where he wants to see, and then he frames the script and then he decides on the thing.
Thank you so much for this discussion. It was really insightful, and you've shared some really practical challenges and solutions that we can go ahead with. Thank you for this discussion.
I'd like to thank you for getting me on this interview, and I hope with my suggestions things can improve when we see even more and more films coming to India to be shot here in this great country.
Thank you.
Thank you.